this short video is an attempt not to change your mind about me and what I stand for, but just to show you that perhaps you're one of those people online that needs to open your mind or do a little research, or not. I don't really care, but it would be great for you. Let's keep it focused on Stellar Blade, right? So there's a tweet that Reforged Gaming put up. A couple tweets I want to show you guys, but this one is anyone else starting to feel awkward about liking Stellar Blade? The public discourse and perception is becoming a bit weird. I have no issues with this tweet. I don't really know what they're referring to, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was the culture war bullshit on both sides, right? But the problem with it is, for me, not the tweet, but it's like it just feeds into this narrative that I just really have not seen out in the world. But like, so I did this tweet, right? Now, I wasn't joking, but I said, oh no, Sony's going to lose their investments because they will have their DEI ESG privileges revoked from BlackRock. Oh, you won't? You mean it was never proven that Sony got investments from DEI scores, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And my only issue, by the way, I made a whole video talking to people who brought BlackRock and all of that stuff to my attention. And I said, oh, I never knew that they did that. And I'm sorry for not knowing, and I'm sorry for claiming they didn't. And my mind was open. And even though I 100% support their right to be a private company and do whatever the hell they want, I get that some people don't like it, and that's fine. Doesn't bother me one bit, but whatever. But this post was about, I've yet to see anyone on the whatever side they follow on this show evidence that Sony is making money or being put on investment sheets from Vanguard, BlackRock, what have you, based on their, whether it's the DEI or ESG, I'm not sure which one gives scores. And I'm not saying that's not true, but you'd think somebody that reports on this or talks about this would say, see, let me show you these publicly available records where Sony made 2% of their operating budget last year, which became, accounts for, 650,000 because they got this score. And here's what they did to get this score, right? I haven't seen that, which probably means it's either not true. My guess is it's not. I'm not saying they don't, but I haven't seen anybody explain, first off, don't you want to know about it? Like, where's the truth there? But anyway, my point was, clearly with Stellar Blade, clearly with Final Fantasy VII, which is over the top. Well, I guess it's over the top sexual, not as much as this. Sony's like, yeah, well, if we did get people's money for being on that list from BlackRock, we're not anymore. And, people are trying to explain it away like, no, see, there's a limit and they can push within this limit. But if they would have put out one more sexy game, they would have been over the limit. It's like, you don't know that. If you knew that, you could provide me with the evidence of exactly what they've made so far and what money has gone to fund what within Sony based on that score. And again, I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm saying let's call it what it is, which is so far nobody's given us evidence. And if they have, please provide it to me. I would love to see really what this really is affecting. But even if it's 100% accurate, these guys have a right to do it, and you have a right not to buy the game. The bigger thing, though, for me personally is, and if you are one of these people, left or right, you really need to learn that nuance is not an enemy. And I'm not talking about nuance like, can you be religious but still be a scientist? Well, there's, whatever. I mean, that's not even that nuance. But this is just a couple of options that you should be able to keep alive in your brain at the same time. So this guy, Afro, and I've seen Afro or whatever, I've seen a number of posts like this. He says, I never thought I would see the guy behind Twisted Metal, God of War, and Drawn to Death, a man who is permanently stuck in fifth grade mentality, get this mad about a sexy lady. I've seen a number of people say that. I tweeted out a joke somebody made about Final Fantasy VII and Tifa's ample bosom. And people were like, oh, okay, so that game's okay, but this guy, Stellar Blade's not. I challenge you to show me where I've ever suggested Stellar Blade is a problem. I put up a video after playing the demo. I said, No, I put up a video before the demo saying, here's the 5 things I was excited about watching someone play the demo, because this is before it came out to everybody, when it was the release got out and people played it before Sony pulled it and they made videos. And one of the top 5 things I was excited about was the over-the-top sexuality. And I mean over the top. I mean, that guy's video that I was looking at, he had her on the bars going across the rapids, and he put the camera down in her butt and her vagina, and it was just swinging into the camera, and I put that in the video. I'm like, this is great. I am not opposed. This is what's weird about some of you people. And maybe it's not weird. Maybe it's like, I get what belonging is. I get it. It's important, right? So these are your people, and if you allow shades of gray and allow nuance into your allegiance to the people that you feel are your people, perhaps they reject you a little bit, or you don't feel as connected. There's got to be something going on, because this isn't hard, right? I have said, do I support Sweet Baby's right to exist? Yes, as should you if you live in America. They have a right to do what they're doing, as long as they're not breaking the law. Just like Steam had a right to say, yeah, we're not going to take down a lot of the stuff that Sweet Baby wants us to take down. Do I agree with their tactics? Not at all. At least some of their tactics. Do I agree that every game out there needs to be a progressive liberal take on whatever? No, I don't. And Stellar Blade clearly isn't. And I love that about Stellar Blade. But I can say I love the overt, over-the-top fun sexuality of, games like Stellar Blade, horror movies, from the 80s, basically, that still had TNA and gore. I love all that shit. That does not turn in my, perpetual 5th grade brain card, okay? I can love that, and also love that there are parts of the world, or the parts of the mediums in the world, that are also saying, yes, but we can be more than that, or we can be something else other than that. So don't get rid of this stuff. But let's also make games where the people look more like real people we know in our lives. Let's also make games where the inclusivity of those games, if that's what the creators who made them or paid for them, which is the owners, want them to be, that's reflected too. But it's like with a lot of you guys, like this guy here and a number of people who have written to me or attacked me on Twitter or whatever, it's like you can't, like, don't you want that in your life? Like, I don't know how old you are. Maybe you're like a 12-year-old or something. But, it doesn't take that much emotional maturity to go, I can understand and appreciate how women feel in today's society threatened and put upon, and like they get the raw end of the deal and all this stuff. And whether that's the way they're portrayed in media, or the way men treat them when they walk down the street, or whatever, you can own that and understand that and appreciate that and fight for that equality while still going, yeah, but I still like crazy sexuality. I still like super fucking hot women like Tacky and Eve in Stellar Blade. I still would look at Tacky, because I don't really know why people love Tacky's the shit. She's, and go, and again, I'm a fucking 52-year-old man, so I get it. You go, it's creepy, you're too old. No, fuck you. You're not too old to think hot chicks are hot chicks. Sorry. Or actually, I'll say sorry because you'll think it's weird, but no. Be grateful that doesn't go away when you get older. But the point is, though, if I had a choice, Tacky or Eve, I would take Tacky, and I would bend her over that fucking... It doesn't matter what I'm looking at right now. The point is... you can have both. And don't you want both? Don't you want the people in your life that are comfortable either always or in moments in their lives of expressing themselves as a mostly sexual person in that moment? Don't you want them to feel safe and welcomed? And don't you also want the people in your life, men or women, that are like, that's not where I'm at right now, or I don't want my games or my media to have that? Can't you respect that too? No one's taking shit away from you. Sony First Party used to publish, I think we did this on my stream. I think when you look at PS1, I think in 1 year, the average was like 112 games that were first party published games. Doesn't mean they developed them all, but they were exclusive to PlayStation. And they had they had the funding and the marketing and all that. And now you're lucky if you get 2 or 3. So, look, if the only place you're getting your games is like Sony or Xbox, or even Nintendo's not part of this conversation, but Sony or Xbox exclusives, then you probably need to open yourself up to some other games, because not because of this, but because they're not making as many anymore. So maybe it feels like it's being taken away from you, but it's like, look, the people in the creative arts are always going to lean progressive. That's how it's always been. You can name on very few hands. I only have 2, but the number of people who work in the creative arts that have made a big footprint with a more conservative message. Now you get the Kevin Costners and you get that show, what was that, Yellowstone and all that, and that's great. Those are big hits. There's hits for a reason, because people want them. But, that's not what certain people that might have been your favorite developers are making these days. So find someone else. But it's just disturbing that so many of you guys seem to think that both of these things can't exist. It's really, like I said, my guess is it's because you feel included with this group, and that is trumping your reasoning, because I'm not offering up something that's complicated. This is pretty obvious that most people would want a healthy embrace of sexuality for you and whoever you're with, or things you're watching or whatever, as long as the people doing it with you or for you are consensual. And they would also want equality in the times where that makes sense, or in the scenarios. And this got to be the fact that you just don't want to get pushed out of the group. I think, because what else would it be? You can't all be this stupid. I mean, you could be, but that's, imagine if you are. Ugh. Oh, and because I know people will ask, I also put up a tweet mocking people who were all like, yeah, fuck, we got our masculinity back, and we got our hot chicks back, and yeah, and we're going to pre-order it, and all you get with the pre-order is some outfits that you can dress the character up in. And I was obviously taking the piss, and I was joking with the clearly over-the-top masculine assumption that all dudes just want to bang the fuck out of this girl, and anything woke or whatever they don't like. And I was also taking the piss out of the fact that, yes, of course, there are men who like to literally play dress up, and also their manhood is not being removed because they want to put cool outfits, be them sexy or cool, on characters in video games. I mean, this is how sensitive we're talking that people have become. Also, I just want to hit the word woke real quick. I can't handle these people anymore. You don't get to change the definition of woke because you and your buddies on the internet think it's this or that or the other. There are certain words like feminism that you can say you're a feminist, and then people go, oh, well, what wave feminist are you? That based on that, that's going to determine what you're really saying. Okay, I get that. I can appreciate the fact that there are some words that are like that. Woke isn't one of them. Here's a definition if you would like one. Okay, and this is when I say I am woke, I've been woke my whole life. Yes, when I was making God of War. The fact that you guys can't see the difference between Kratos and 2 women having consensual, enjoyable sex, and someone who just hates everything about progressiveness and equality is very telling. Either telling in that you've gotten the very wrong idea about progressive people. They're probably some of the freakiest fuckers you know. Actually, they're probably less freaky than conservatives, because conservatives keep all that shit bottled up. But you've either gotten wrong ideas there, or I don't know where your ideas come from, where you see people enjoying sex with each other and you go, see, you couldn't say that if you also agree with some of the philosophies that Sweet Baby espouses. Why not? What? How do those things not live together peacefully? I don't really fucking know. But here's the definition, by the way. If this is the definition I use, that is because it's the definition. Woke is an adjective. That's all you need to know. Woke is an adjective that means being aware of and attentive to important social issues, especially those related to racial and social justice. It originated in the African American vernacular. What is the problem? That's what it means. It's okay if you want to say, I don't want to be aware or attentive to social issues related to racial and social justice, or if you think that what is important about those issues is not what other people think. That's a fine distinction to draw. But don't act like everybody now knows when I say I'm woke that it's your definition. You don't own the fucking definition, bitch. I'm sorry. Maybe, it's a generational thing and you just think because Twitter says it's this, that trumps Webster's. And maybe when my Gen X ass dies out, the millennials die out, fine. I'll let Elon Musk be the goddamn king of deciding what the official term is. But until that happens, fuck you. I'm going with the goddamn dictionary. Sorry that's too much work for you. But that's what I mean when I say I'm woke. All right, be well.